Hello and welcome to Mustang Game Day here in Swanson Studio. We have a great show for you today as we break down everything about Cal Poly Beach Volleyball ahead of the NCAA National Championships in Gulf Shores, Alabama. My name is Ty Soria.
And my name is Charlie Wiltsey. Let's take a look at the Mustangs' strong season this year and their preparation heading into this year's national tournament before they kick off round one later this afternoon. The Mustangs finished the 2025 season as the number 6 ranked team in all of Division I, solidifying themselves as a legitimate threat to any program in the NCAA tournament. They went 29-7, which was good for the top spot in the Big West Conference. They carried their momentum into the Big West Championships, where they fell in the championship round against Long Beach State. This was by no means a perfect season for the Mustangs, who came into the year with high expectations after finishing third in last year's NCAA tournament. They started the year off with a challenging stretch of opponents and looked outmatched early on, losing to UCLA and LMU, both top 3 ranked opponents at the time. They found their stride immediately after the loss to LMU, going on an incredible stretch of 18 straight wins, which was the longest active streak in all of Division I volleyball. During that stretch, their national ranking peaked as high as number 3, equaling the best mark in program history. Their best performance on the season came in early April when they faced off against UCLA for the second time and won in a 3-2 upset. The win over the Bruins was not only revenge for the early loss, but also the first time in program history that Cal Poly had beaten UCLA. They were recently recognized for their efforts in the NCAA awards, with 4 players being named to the ABCA All-American lists. Their number 1 pairing of Piper Furch and Aaron Inskeep were both first-team All-Americans, a major achievement for the top 2 players on Cal Poly's roster. The Big West Championships had looked like it was going to be an achievable win to cap off the conference season, so they'll need to look to this weekend's NCAA tournament for redemption. For more on their shot at the first NCAA title, here's reporter Amanda Avila, who was at their final practice before they left for the tournament.
I'm at the Pisma Beach courts where Cal Poly Beach Volleyball is getting in one last final practice before taking off to the NCAA Championships. Last weekend, the top-seeded Mustangs were upset by Long Beach State in the Big West Championship, marking the second year in a row they've fallen to the beach in the tournament. Despite the loss, Cal Poly secured an at-large bid and will compete for a national title as the number 6 seed.
I look at it similar to last year. We took third in the Big West as the number 1 seed, and we're supposed to win it. And we got upset by Long Beach in the semifinal game. So we ended up having a pretty good run in NCAAs. So I look at it kind of similar. Like, well, ladies, you know what it takes. You took a loss right here. You know, are you going to respond and crumble, or are you going to respond and lift it up and do like you did last year and take it a little further this go around?
Last season, after falling in the conference tournament, Cal Poly rallied to finish third at nationals. This year, players say the emotions from that loss are once again fueling their drive.
I think as a team collectively, we had a fire lit under us. For me and Maddie, it's becoming more mad and like playing with more like anger instead of overthinking the game.
Cal Poly will take on number 11 seeded LSU in the opening round of the NCAA Championships this Friday, May 2nd in Gulf Shores, Alabama. And the players won't be traveling alone. Joining the team once again is Connor's service dog and the team's official director of player morale, Mr. Hercules.
I don't even know if I could put that in words, what he means to me. He's literally my partner in crime.
With Mr. Herc by their side and a shot at redemption ahead, Cal Poly is bringing the same roster and the same motivation back to the national stage, this time looking to win it all. From Mustang News, I'm Amanda Avila.
Yeah, it was a little bit interesting with the deja vu, Long Beach, losing to them again in the Big West Championship.
Yeah, and also the practice at Avila Beach. We're going to talk about it a little later, but you know, kind of getting ready for that open environment. It's pretty cool to see what they've been doing to prepare. But we're going to go ahead to break right now. When we come back, we'll have an interview with second-team All-American Izzy Martinez.
The sky over Morro Bay was filled with more than just clouds this weekend. Giant whales, squid, and even Lego men soared above the beach during the city's annual Kite Festival. For Los Angeles resident Keith Allen, this was his first time attending the event. A lifelong kite enthusiast, Allen brought along a large octopus kite, and he said the experience felt magical.
It's like snorkeling in the sky, you know? You see all these amazing creatures just floating and flying around. It's fantastic.
Also visiting for the first time was Matt Olson, who traveled from Arizona with his wife and daughters. He began flying kites during the COVID-19 pandemic and considers it both a relaxing hobby and a form of exercise.
There is something about seeing the kites floating through the air that just kind of makes my blood pressure drop.
The festival was founded by Morro Bay local Sean Farmer, a former kite shop owner. Although he's no longer in the business, he continues to organize the event each year.
And if you look out at all the people out here today, they're all having fun. The kids are running around flying their kites. It's just a great family day.
Farmer said the event now draws about 6,000 visitors per day and has become a fixture in the local community.
This is my hometown, and to do this for the community is just, it feels really great.
For many locals, the Kite Festival has become an annual tradition. Cayucas resident Norma Jean Reed said she's attended several times and still finds the experience captivating.
It's just colorful and joy.
The Morro Bay Kite Festival wrapped up Sunday afternoon, but organizers and attendees said the memories made under the kites are likely to last longer. For Mustang News, I'm Giselle Espinoza.
Cal Poly Beach Volleyball left for Alabama on Tuesday. However, Ty and I were able to catch practice on Monday to talk to some of the players and coaches.
And one notable player that I got to talk to after practice was junior Izzy Martinez. She's making her second NCAA championship appearance this year, and here is what she had to say. I'm here with Cal Poly Beach player Izzy Martinez. My dogs are in the sand right now in Pismo Beach, California. Izzy, why are you guys practicing here instead of your home courts?
We practice at Pismo a lot because Todd wants us to practice in the wind, and it's mostly windy here in Pismo, whereas the buildings at Cal Poly block out the wind. So.
Yeah, and then tell me about, you guys go to Gulf Shores pretty much every year for nationals. Tell me what the conditions are like when you play there.
I've only been 1 year, so last year it was really, really hot and somewhat breezy, maybe a little bit less than this. But this year I think there's supposed to be thunderstorms, so there's definitely going to be a decent amount of wind while we're there.
Yeah, that'll be interesting, seeing the weather. Thunderstorms, you said?
Yeah, it's supposed to be thunderstorms, but still 85 degrees, so we'll see how it is.
Yeah, you guys have battled through it before. I remember Center of Effort last year.
Yeah, Center of Effort.
You're battling rain. Yeah. So tell me, just like recently, you guys lost to Long Beach State again in the Big West. Tell me like how that is like fueling you guys for this tournament.
I mean, I think it was definitely a little frustrating. I think a lot of us obviously really, really wanted that title, but we just had it was just an off day for us, which happens. But I think we're only gonna let it fuel us for the upcoming tournament, and we're definitely gonna make sure that what happened there isn't gonna happen in Alabama.
Yeah, and then why is it that Long Beach State has been tough for you guys this year?
I mean, I think there's a lot of similar matchups in our pairings. I think obviously their one pair, Taylor and Malia, are very similar to Piper and Aaron, so they were battling it out on court one. I mean, they are a very good team, and I think the rivalry also fuels a little bit of it, so.
Yeah, and then last thing from me, from your experience at Nationals last year, heading all the way to the semifinals, breaking seed, tell me like, what have you learned from that, and how can you build on these results from last year?
Yeah, I think last year just showed that anything can happen, upsets happen. Like, we are coming out ready for LSU. Like, they upset a ton of teams last year also, so we cannot take them lightly. And I think, again, like, we need to go into it with an open mind because legitimately it's one game and you're done. So we need to bring our A game, we need to bring our fight, and we're going to give it our all. Izzy Martinez from Cal Poly Beach Volleyball. I'm Ty Soria signing off.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to take away from this was just that anything could happen. LSU is a team that no one wants to face in the first round, especially after last year when they also made the semifinals. And last year, Martinez was in the #1 spot with Ella Connor, and now she's in the 2 spot with Logan Walter, a new pair. So it'll be interesting to see how this team, with almost every starter having nationals experience under the belt, will fare in this tournament. Yeah, this Cal Poly team is incredibly experienced, and hopefully they can get over that off day that they had in the Big West Championship. But coming up after the break, Charlie and I will give you our key players to look out for, as the Mustangs are less than 90 minutes from competition. We'll be right back.
I am here at the Slow Earth Fest, an annual event held this year by the Slow Climate Coalition. The event brings together local vendors and informational organizations to inform the community about what they can do to help the Earth and celebrate it.
This year's Earthfest had tents ranging from national environmental organizations to artists offering interactive experiences, and even a wellness zone featuring crystal singing bowls and precisely tuned gongs. Eric Viam told me about some of the goals for this year's Earthfest.
The goal of Slow Earthfest, I'd say, is a number of things. One is to bring community together to celebrate the Earth, environmental leadership, climate leadership. The second is to educate and connect people to opportunities to get involved. And really the third is to activate people in their own lives to do more, to support the Earth, to support environmentalism, to support climate action.
The event featured a speech from Jimmy Paulding, a member of the County Board of Supervisors who focuses on environmental issues.
I think climate resilience is really important. I mean, here in our county, we've seen the impacts of floods recently, maybe not as recent, but earthquakes, fire risk. When we look at the impacts to our government operations, to the safety of our community, we've got a plan to be, resilient, and we've got a lot in the way of energy policy that we work on too.
The event also featured several bands that performed throughout the day, allowing people to come together and dance despite the overcast weather.
Feels great. I mean, that's what music's all about, community and about the earth and making people feel happy and spread, the vibration.
The Slow Earthfest looks to continue and grow as more people become aware of climate issues. For Mustang News, I'm Zach Burston.
Welcome back to Mustang Game Day. I'm Charlie Wiltsey, joined by Ty Soria, and we can talk about any player on the sand for Cal Poly because all 10 are going to be important. But in this show, we're going to be focusing on 3 players who will be crucial for this tournament.
5 players will take the sand for the Mustangs this weekend. While the players have remained mostly the same this year from 2024, the lineups have shifted a little bit. So let's take a look at our first key player.
One key player has been senior Piper Furch, who's had a dominant season as part of Cal Poly's #1 pairing. Her and her partner Erin Inskeep went 27-6 during the season, securing multiple wins against some of the top teams in the nation. This is even more impressive when you think about how she's, in any given match, facing off against the best player that any program has to offer. They got big wins against top pairs from UCLA, LMU, USC, a lot of the teams that Cal Poly could end up facing in this tournament. The Redmond, Washington native racked up plenty of accolades from the season as well, which will be her last in a Cal Poly uniform. She was named an ABCA first-team All-American earlier this week, along her pairing Inskeep. Furch was one of 10 Mustangs to be named to the All-Big West teams, and she was one of 4 to be first All-Big West. This was her 3rd straight year being named to that Big West first team. She also reached 100 career wins earlier on in the season, with just one more needed to tie the all-time program record. And with those wins, Furch and Inskeep became the winningest pair in program history with 57. So the Mustangs will be relying on her to set the tone if they want to make a run at an NCAA title.
Yeah, and the second key player is Ella Connor. She's the redshirt junior and has been the poster child for this beach volleyball team. She's been moved to the 4 spot this season, and she's been battling some tough injuries, but she is still absolutely vital to this team. Her and Izzy Martinez led Cal Poly last year as the #1 pair and were ranked 2nd best pair in the nation at one point. Connor earned 2nd team All Big West this season, and she's primarily been paired with Maddie Nichols this season. They have a 17-6 record in 2025. Connor is extremely important as the #4 pair. Both of these players, Connor and Nichols, they are incredibly experienced, and they both participated in the NCAA National Championships last year. And this really speaks to the depth of the team overall, with a menacing pairing at the 4th spot, when usually this slot would contain at least one of the younger players. Of course, it's hard to mention Ella Connor without her partner in crime, Mr. Herc. In all seriousness, though, our beach volleyball team, out of all the sports that I've covered in my time in Mustang News, is a team that prioritizes mental health the most. Having Herc not just with Ella, but with this entire team is incredibly important, as beach volleyball is very much a mental game as it is physical.
Yeah, and the 3rd player that we're going to focus on today is graduate student Lindsay Sparks, who's been played a massive role as a leader on the team this year. She's a former NCAA champion with UCLA, who's made an incredible comeback from injury and has found a new home with Cal Poly. She joined the program midway through last season and has found herself paired with sophomore Quinn Perry. They've spoken a lot about how they've formed an incredible bond as a pair off the sand and how that's translated to on-court success. And as a 7th year, Sparks provides a unique skill set as a leader and was someone who head coach Todd Rogers recruited even out of high school. She's seen the high highs of a championship run, also the low lows of missing 2 whole seasons due to a catastrophic knee injury. And Sparks was told that she had a 50% chance of returning to beach volleyball, but she's been a key part of the team at that 3rd pairing. And with her being 25, there's a 6-year age gap with Perry, who's 19. But the two have become close friends in the time that they've played together. And Sparks joined the program late last quarter, so at the start of the winter quarter. So finding that connection with Perry was a big part of her finding a home here at Cal Poly.
Yeah, and Lindsay Sparks has had an incredible journey, and her path to Cal Poly was definitely not a normal one. She's the only player on the team that has experience actually winning the national championship. And recently, I had the experience of talking to her about overcoming injury and being cut from the UCLA national team. Take a look. Lindsay Sparks, the 25-year-old grad student who plays in the number 3 spot for Cal Poly Beach Volleyball, thought she would never be able to play again. After winning a national championship with UCLA in 2019, Sparks later suffered a catastrophic tear to the kneecap that kept her sidelined for 2 whole years. In fall 2024, with 2 more years of eligibility left, Sparks was almost ready to get back on the sand when her coaches at UCLA told her that she was no longer on the team.
I was like super stoked to get onto the meeting for it to be like, all right, 6th year at UCLA and stuff, and then I got a big fat no, and I was like, tears, like, but it ended up being the best possible thing that could have happened to me.
After reconnecting with Cal Poly head coach Todd Rogers, Sparks joined the team at the start of winter quarter 2024 and instantly made an impact as a leader and a player.
I knew she had awesome leadership capabilities already, so even if she never played a single point out on the sand, she was going to contribute in those areas and make our culture better. The risk was well worth it because the upside was humongous.
Sparks and the Mustangs beat the UCLA Bruins for the first time in program history earlier this season, which she described as the sweetest satisfaction ever. With one last push to win another national championship, Sparks thanks Cal Poly and the coaching staff for their excellent support system surrounding her injury.
They've worked with me through the injuries. They like tell me like, hey, if you're at 75%, like we still want you out there. And it means a lot for them to like believe in me through the ups and the downs. They don't just support me when I'm up.
For Mustang News Sports, I'm Ty Soria.
After the break, we're going to be breaking down the NCAA championship bracket. Stick around.
Cal Poly students turned out for ASI Student Night at Baggett Stadium, an event organized to increase campus engagement and support the baseball team's strong season. Anushka Samuel, ASI Secretary of Campus Resources, shared why the event was important.
I was always trying to get students connected to their college experience. So one way that we like to do that is to have students come out to the sports games that we have. We have done student nights with other sports teams, and now that it's baseball season and the weather is so beautiful and the baseball team is doing great, you know, we had to get students out here and engaging.
Students who attended are encouraging more campus involvement as well.
Come out. Get some snacks, sunflower seeds. Yeah.
ASI also partnered with Safer to promote the It's On Us campaign, which aims to raise awareness about sexual assault prevention on campus.
And it's just to support, to show our support to sexual assault survivors, and as well as taking up a stand against sexual assault on our campus at Cal Poly.
ASI Student Night reflected ASI's effort to encourage campus spirit while promoting social awareness. It comes as Cal Poly baseball continues to break attendance records this season. For Mustang News, I'm Noemi Basquera.
Welcome back to Mustang Game Day. We are less than 2 hours away from the Mustangs taking on LSU in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Here's a look at the first round seeding of this year's NCAA championship. The UCLA Bruins. Cal Poly is 1-1 against them this season. Cal Poly got their first win over the Bruins in program history. Lindsay Sparks beat her head coach, Jenny Johnson-Jordan, on her own court. So great moment for her. And they lost, the UCLA Bruins lost to USC in the championship last year.
Yeah, we see they've already moved on, though, to the second round. So that'll be an interesting team to watch as they move forward in the tournament.
Yep. And then next up is Florida State. Cal Poly beat them in the Center of Effort Challenge in the midseason to defend their 6th seed ranking. Cal Poly upset them in last year's NCAA championship to go to the semifinals. And then FSU this year lost their conference championship. And going into Long Beach State, Cal Poly's kryptonite, they went 2-2 against Cal Poly this year. They won the Big West Championship against the Mustangs and knocked Cal Poly out of the Big West Championship last year as well. Then USC, they have won the last 4 NCAA championships, but this year they lost in their MPSF Conference Championship, and today they play against North Florida. LMU, Cal Poly beat them in the Best of the West tournament when LMU was just the number 3 ranked team. Now they are number 4, and Cal Poly is 1-1 against them this year.
Yeah, another matchup to watch is definitely Boise State and Stanford. Stanford's a team that beat Cal Poly earlier on in the season, and if they win, that will if Cal Poly wins, this will be which opponent they'll face in that second round. So definitely Stanford as the number 3 seed taking on Boise State. They're definitely favored to win, and that could be a big matchup for the Mustangs in this tournament as a whole. For LSU, we're going to get into that in a moment, the Cal Poly LSU match. To go down and look at Cal, one player to watch is Ella Dreibholz. She set the Cal all-time wins record earlier in the season. They could be a factor in this tournament. In Cal Poly's side, they could be a team we face. But I think it's important we look at Cal Poly's matchup here. So let's kick it over to this specific match that we're going to break down. And even though LSU comes into this matchup as the underdog 11 seed, Cal Poly still has their work cut out for them to make it into the second round this year. Tigers will make their 8th straight NCAA tournament appearance behind head coach Russell Brock. They finished 24-12 and beat high-ranking opponents like Cal and USC this season. The USC win specifically is a big indicator of that talent that they possess. Similar to Cal Poly, their number 1 pair was both named AVCA first-team All-Americans. That's going to be a huge matchup. And when we spoke to Cal Poly head coach Todd Rogers, he emphasized their size and physicality as a major strength of this LSU lineup. It's a bit harder to assess the bottom 3 of their pairs because they get shuffled around quite a bit, at least during this season. But it's no secret this team is more than capable of knocking off any of the top seeds on any given night. And yeah.
Yeah, and then going into this first matchup, it's going to be Piper Furch and Aaron Inskeep versus Gabby Bailey and Parker Bracken. The dominant number 1 pairing of Bailey and Bracken are a tough matchup for Furch and Inskeep. Both pairs were first-team All-Americans, so that will be a huge deciding matchup. And then going into the number 2 pair, it will be Izzy Martinez and Logan Walter, likely versus Aubrey O'Gorman and Cameron Chatelier. O'Gorman is a 6'3" senior, so she will be a big presence at the front of the net. And Chatelier is a freshman, so she will be making her first appearance in the tournament, so there will be a lot of pressure on her. We might see Martinez and Walter try to target her and focus on placing the ball in tougher spots for her to get. And then going into that third pair, we might not see this actual matchup, but Elle Evers and Julia Sprecher versus Lindsay Sparks and Quinn Perry. Evers and Sprecher are both freshmen, so I think we're going to see a lot of aggressiveness, especially from Quinn Perry, who loves to just spike the ball really hard. So a lot of aggressiveness from this pair is what I think we'll see.
Yeah, we're going to head to break real quick, but when we come back, we'll take a look at the practice strategy that the Mustang used to get ready for Gulf Shores.
This past Earth Day, on April 22nd, Cal Poly hosted its annual Earth Day Festival. Dozens of clubs and organizations set up booths across the University Union, each one highlighting a different way students can get involved in protecting the planet. Festival goers collected stamps at each booth for a chance to win a free yerba mate. I spoke with Claire Beeshold, a representative from the Study Abroad booth, who shared how travel can play a role in expanding awareness of our environmental impact.
And I'm just sharing with people different ways that they can get involved in different field studies and sustainability programs that we offer. I got to go to Ecuador, and that influenced me a lot on my future career that I would like to have in sustainability and environmental sciences.
Traveling can help people become more aware of their environmental footprint, and Claire was excited to connect with students at the event. I also spoke with Audrey Gregg, president of the Surfrider Club, who talked about the importance of protecting local coastlines.
We're all about ocean advocacy, protection. We mainly do that through our beach cleanups. And it's just made up of a really awesome group of people who deeply love the earth and the ocean. So we have a bunch of surfers, a bunch of people who just love being outside, and we do that together. So it's just a fun excuse to hang out with friends, but also give back to our planet by cleaning it up.
Earth Day at Cal Poly serves as a reminder that small actions like joining a club picking up trash, or studying sustainably abroad can have a big impact on our planet. This is Bree Thompson with Mustang News.
This week and last week, the Mustangs have been making the trip to Pismo Beach for their daily volleyball practices.
Right now, I am currently at an empty Swanson Beach volleyball complex where usually in this time of day, the Cal Poly beach volleyball team should be practicing. However, they're nowhere to be found because they're actually at Pismo Beach practicing for the NCAA championships coming up this weekend. I spoke to Todd Rogers, the head coach, on why they're doing this and why they want to be in a different setting instead of here.
Just even the ball, like playing on the court, the dimensions are all the same, net height's still the same, but the dimensions of where the wall is at Mott or the parking garage or the tennis courts is so much different than just a beach that keeps going out or the ocean that obviously just goes forever kind of thing.
While most of their tournaments are played on college campuses, the nationals are played on the actual beach of Gulf Shores. Rogers also added that the wind is the biggest difference maker in playing on the beach versus on a campus.
At Poly, we get wind, but it's inconsistent. It comes in, then it dies down, it switches directions, and that's because of all the buildings around it. Here, it goes in one direction and just keeps blowing. And
weather is also an important factor and has been known to turn the tides of some games. And in Gulf Shores, there are expected to be thunderstorms on Friday and Saturday, which covers every round except for the championship. The team must be fully prepared for anything as they look to take a national title.
I've watched it at the college level, the elite level, where team's in control, all of a sudden there's a lightning delay, and they come back out, and that team that was in control is just flat, and the other team's on fire for whatever reason. So it's like an elongated timeout.
For Mustang News Sports, I'm Ty Soria. Cal Poly Beach Volleyball kicks off in just over an hour from Gulf Shores, Alabama. And right now we're going to get into our 3 keys to the tournament.
Yeah, so my first key to this match today is actually going to be the weather. Gulf Shores is a really different environment than Cal Poly's Swanson Beach Volleyball Complex, with a lot of wind and potential rain in the forecast for this weekend. It's looking like today might be a better day than predicted in Gulf Shores, but there's been a serious risk of thunderstorms for this weekend that have gone away from not today, but tonight it looks like there's going to be heavy rain, which is a big effect. Will have a big effect on the sand for Saturday and Sunday's matches potentially. Also, if there's thunderstorms, they'll have to postpone the matches if it happens during it. So that's definitely something to watch. And we talked about their practices in Pismo Beach with the wind, the difference in wind compared to a sheltered Cal Poly like beach volleyball complex like Swanson. And so having that new environment, being on the open sand, is definitely something that they've needed to prepare to a lot for. And so yeah, next key.
Yeah, and that second key is going to be physicality, especially for this LSU matchup. LSU is known to be a physically dominant team. A lot of these players are really tall, very strong athletic players. They'll be having an imposing presence in the front of the net. And Cal Poly has not really that many players over 6 feet. They're not as physically imposing, but the Mustangs will have to bring the energy. They'll have to play very smart here against this LSU team, especially. LSU is a really young team. They have a lot of freshmen, so Cal Poly will have to show their experience against this team.
Yeah, and our final key is going to be the Mustangs bringing the energy and intensity early on. When we talked to Todd Rogers this week, one thing he talked about was the intensity against Long Beach State in the championship. That was definitely an issue that they're going to need to fix against LSU's physically dominant pairs. And so, you know, a couple pairs have been starting off slow a few times, at least on Cal Poly's roster. So that's something that they're going to need to correct for this matchup. And so just bringing the energy from the jump, and they have to show the other team that they're better. They have to impose that they're not underdogs. That's kind of been a mindset for this entire season for the Mustangs.
Yeah, we hear it.
Sorry, go ahead.
We hear it over and over again from Todd Rogers, the Olympian himself. He is the last men's volleyball player to win a gold medal, so he knows what he's talking about. But
yeah, and that's going to do it for us on Mustang Game Day today. Cal Poly will be taking on LSU starting at 1 p.m. today in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Thanks for watching. I'm Charlie Wiltsey.
And I'm Ty Soria. Thank you for joining us, and make sure to tune into Cal Poly Beach Volleyball at 1 p.m.